Jai Hind everyone. This is Dr. Monika Agarwal from AKGEC. Today my lecture is related to technical communication subject, and this is the topic speech and personality from Unit 5, which relates to digital communication and personality making. First of all, before going to understand what is digital and digital communication, we should understand the connection between the speech and a personality of a human being. So the content of this lecture has, first of all, the background as introduction, then what is the significance of speech, and then interrelatedness of speech and personality, and then summing up. We know that one of the key factor of personality is the ability of a person to create speeches, to speak on various occasions in conversations for formal and informal situations. So this is the ability of a person to effectively communicate verbally using a language. We are talking about verbal communication, verbal oral communication. Some people are gifted with verbal communication skills, or they work upon improving their verbal communication skills, and other people simply feel shy, or they are devoid of those situations and opportunities to sharpen their speaking abilities, and they are unsure of their abilities to even want to try. They are afraid of speaking in front of people. So speech is one of the major factors to reflect personality. It is important. Be at home, at school, at the workplace. We need to be able to articulate well what are our thoughts, what are our intentions and ideas. And this is what makes us welcome. This is what makes us respected in various situations. So, how personality development is related to our oral communication skills. So in personality development, the importance of speech has two-edged significance. We can summarize the significance of speech basically in two broad categories. One is providing and gaining positive perception. Positive perception, we all know that we want to be in a good books of people. So we want to give a reflection or an image that people take us as a person who is worth talking to, worth be a part of the team and be a colleague or be a boss and subordinate and that's all. So our perception of others can be influenced by the way they speak and the message they are trying to relay. Okay, I would like to pay attention to the aspect that whatever we see around, we make our perception of those things. There are situations, there are things, and there are people. So our perception of others can be influenced by the way they speak, what messages they are trying to relay. Okay, we have our own perception, what is going all around us. So if we are careful of our speech, whether in formal and informal situation, in both the situation, we can find and gain a positive perception from our peer people, from our colleagues, from our superiors, even from our customers. So for a professional, working on the speech is very important to enhance the personality. The other benefit is that it is only our oral communication which not only reflects but also develops our personality. So reflecting and developing personality through oral communication is the next benefit, or you can say the second benefit, the other benefit of speech and personality. Okay, because if we hesitate to speak on fear of being misjudged by others, we miss an opportunity to be judged well also, or to be evaluated well also. So if we are too shy and scared of opening our mouth in front of people in gatherings, we have stage fear. So these things can be really a hindrance, and it will be really difficult for us to develop our personality. We know that whenever personality development programs are conducted, the major work is done on the speaking abilities. We are not talking about the biological aspect of a personality or the physical aspect of a personality. We are talking about personality means our psychological built-up, our mental, emotional and psychological traits, and those traits are our true personality. So, how speech and personality are connected? What is the interrelatedness of speech and personality? I would like to deal upon this one by one, and I have made certain categories. First of all, the speech pattern. If we examine the speech pattern of people, we can get an idea of the personality of the people. The way a person speaks includes their tone, pitch, volume and speed of speech, the rate of speech. Okay. If we judge those things, and if we notice the tone, the pitch and the volume as well as the speed of speaking, the rate of speaking, we can get an insight into their personality. Because, for example, a person who speaks loudly and confidently, fluently, okay, that type of person can be conceived as an extrovert or an assertive person, and this type of personality is welcome. Okay, a person should be confident to express. Okay, a person who has sufficient knowledge and command over the subject on which he is talking can only be confident, because confidence cannot be bought. Confidence can only be developed. Okay, similarly, while someone who speaks softly, slowly, or not proper pronunciation and articulation, that person might seem to be introvert and overcautious. So these are the various aspects of personality as introversion and extroversion. So we can have a glimpse of that type of feature of a personality through speech pattern. The next thing is vocabulary and language use. You know that we, at the time of expressing ourselves, use a particular language which we are sure that the other person knows. Okay, but again, the choice of words and the style of language can reveal the aspects of our personality. For example, someone who uses a wide range of vocabulary and is very cautious, very careful about selecting the right word, and that person speaks eloquently, that person is seen as well educated and intellectual. Okay, and on the other side, if someone who uses slang, slowly language, informal language, and not very careful about the right body language, posture, etc., that person can be seen as more casual, unsophisticated, uneducated, and sometimes down to earth. Okay, so vocabulary, the choice of word, the language style reflects our personality. Next is the style of communication. We know that there are certain ways to express ourselves in a very effective way, or we are trying to hide something, or we are trying to manipulate something. These intentions determine our style. So the way a person communicates with others, such as whether direct communication, straightforward, without any extra flowery language or without any lengthening or redundance, that person can be taken as direct person, open-minded, as well as a very honest person. On the other hand, if a person uses indirect language or manipulates or tries to give a very, very ornamental expression of things, that can reflect that that person wants to hide something or manipulate something and is a diplomatic person. Okay? So we can judge the personality of a person, right, as a very straightforward, simple person or manipulative. Next is emotional expression. We know that the emotional content and expression of one's speech are well reflected as the means of the insight and the emotional state of the person. Okay, so we can have an insight into the emotional state as well as the emotional intelligence of the person while speaking with that person, or having to observe the person speaking in public places for presentation, etc., or in interviews as well. For example, a person who frequently expresses enthusiasm and positivity in the speech, we can perceive those people as cheerful, as optimistic, as you can say a good worker, a good team member, and sometimes a good leader. On the other hand, if a person uses negative language and the tone is depressed, and the person is unable to express his emotions in certain situations, so such people are low in their emotional intelligence and can be taken as pessimistic and cynical. So this is how we can have an idea of the emotional intelligence of the people through their speech. Next is listening and empathy. We know that speaking is not only a one-way process, especially in the situations like conversation, in interview, and other group discussions like situation, formal and informal situations. Listening is one of the major characteristic of good communication. So the people listen to other people. So how a person listens and responds to others in conversation can also reflect their personality. We always recommend active listening. We always recommend listening with empathy. So if a person is listening actively and shows empathy in responding, asks questions to understand better the other person, can be seen as a compassionate and empathic person. It can be a leader, it can be a team member. Whereas someone who dominates the conversation, doesn't let the other person speak, partial listening is habit, or a person is a passive listener, then the responses will not be up to the mark, not timely. So such kind of people can be taken as self-centered, or the people who are not involved in the surrounding or in the conversation. So listening and empathy very well reflect this aspect of personality of people. Next is cultural and regional influences. We know that an individual is you can say product of not only the training which is received formally, but also the environment, the culture, and the dialectical situation in which that person has grown up. So, regional and dialectical influences reveal the speaker's regional and cultural affiliation. The moment a person starts speaking, whatever language he or she is using, we know that the effect of the mother tongue, the effect of the regional language or dialectical language is bound to be there. So when a person speaks, through his speech, we can note the speech patterns and the communication styles. And then these styles are also related to their cultural and regional factors. So we can understand that this person belongs to that particular region or that particular culture. So different cultures and region may be having distinct norms and expectations also. Different cultures have different etiquettes also. So when we speak and we talk to the person both ways, we are judged or we are not judged, we are evaluated and our personality is reflected, and we can also estimate and assess roughly the personality of the other person. Okay? So at the end of this lecture, I would like to point out one important thing, that assessing a personality of a person, we cannot take speech as the complete criteria or as the only aspect of judging a personality. It is essential to remember that while speech can provide insight into a person's personality, no doubt that we have certain insights into the person's true personality, means the psychological makeup, but speech is not a definitive and comprehensive assessment. It means that on the basis of only how the person speaks, how the person clarifies himself or herself, what is their choice of words and what is their accent, or what are their matter of interest, and how careful they are listening, doesn't always assess the true type of personality, or you can say the true traits of human personality. Therefore, it is important to consider speech as just one aspect of understanding someone's personality, and to avoid making very rapid and incomplete judgments based solely on how a person speaks. We should take certain other means, like certain personality tests we can administer. We can observe the behavior and the interaction and the work of the other person. Then only, over a period of time, then only we can make a roughly better perception and assessment of a person's personality, the other person's personality. Similarly, we can work on improving our personality, working on different aspects which are related to our personality traits. So that's all with this topic, speech and personality. Thank you, everyone.